So there's 30 feet of pure terror, but then there's don't mess with Mother Nature, both with exclamation points at the end.
Should say 30 feet of meat.
Actually, wait, what the fuck? I'm gonna read this should be the tagline. Pat Morita goes up against a giant cobra he previously fought against a karate dojo that was called Cobra Kai in the Karate Kid franchise.
Ooh, Chris brought me a margarita. Thank you.
Where's my fucking margarita?
It's in the mail.
All I got is fucking flaming hot Mountain Dew.
I want to try that so bad. This is delicious. It's in a skull mug too.
I have it in the refrigerator that I just keep putting off because I'm like, this is gonna be terrible.
Nah, it's gonna be good.
Oh, I've
got an ice cold Dr. Pepper. Yeah.
I saw
pay me Dr. Pepper.
Someone on Twitter talk about the flaming Mountain Dew just tastes like the orange Mountain Dew, but it just makes the back of your throat like itchy.
Oh no.
I was like, that's probably not good, but I'm still gonna try it.
If I haven't seen it anywhere, but you better believe I've been keeping an eye out. I still haven't tried my draft Pepsi though, so it'll happen when it happens, I guess.
I came around and now I drink one of those like every day.
Well, and then I saw apparently there's like a specific way you're not supposed to drink it from the can.
Yeah,
you're supposed to like hard pour it so that the carbonation makes it frothy. And I was like, okay, good thing, because I normally
just beer.
I mean, it's like the idea. It's like nitro infused or whatever.
So
and at first I kind of was just like, it just kind of tasted like flat Pepsi to me, but then like, I don't know, it's just like a smoother Pepsi, so it's not like that like as like harsh the carbonation is in a Pepsi.
I also got the vanilla one. I don't know if you've had that one or just
I tried
regular.
That too. It's fine. It's like,
okay,
it's not as good as the regular, I think, but
anyways, yeah, it wasn't lost. Cobra Kai was not lost on me. Ooh.
Xerxes, be good.
Asking a lot.
All right, this is episode 204 of Soda Talk.
Oh, damn.
I'd be okay with that.
We should review weird sodas.
I mean, on board.
I feel like my life at this point revolves around trying weird food and drink, so I'm down for that.
I'm gonna spend the $20 on the pixel flavored Coca-Cola.
Oh, I saw that today. I wasn't really understanding what was going on with it though.
Is it like a newer one? Because I just imagine it's like a tie into the Adam Sandler movie for some reason.
They just released it along with like the space flavored one.
I want to know what the fuck is a pixel supposed to taste like?
It sounds like a mix of berries.
I feel like that's what
Who would have guessed?
anything mysterious tastes like. Some kind of random mix of berries.
These guys say that it tastes kind of like grape.
Ew.
I mean,
the can's cool at least.
I'll try it.
Yeah, the packaging's really cool.
I feel like all the Coke ones are not good.
The space flavored one was decent, but I couldn't drink a whole fucking bottle of it. I gave up 2/3 of the way through.
Yeah, I bought like the
12
pack of the mini cans, and I think we still have like 8 of them left or some shit.
Oh, we finished all of ours. We got the 12-pack and we got just like standalone ones, and we finished them. We were using them as mixers though, so I feel like easier to drink.
It seems like it'd be perfect mixer Coke.
I say, like ours are just sitting on top of the refrigerator for like those days where we're just like, fuck, nobody went to the store, we have nothing else to drink.
I need something hot.
Yeah. Yeah, nice hot Coke.
I'm gonna buy all these coffee Cokes. Gross.
I did not care for the coffee Coke. Like, it was okay. You know which one I really liked was the cinnamon Coke.
Yeah,
I
it's pretty
loved
good.
it. Tasted like Christmas
Cinnamon.
1997, if you know what I mean.
Only 1997 though.
Yeah, not a year before or after.
That year.
You get that can that tastes like 98, you throw it out.
You know, that year
Yeah,
we got cinnamon
literally.
back.
Yeah. After the great cinnamon shortage of 1996.
The Cinnamon Wars.
I can't tell if we just don't want to talk about this movie or.
You know, like, did we say what it was?
No.
Girl.
We just dived straight into soda talk.
It was fine. Like,
I don't care about talking about the story. I just want to talk about the Cobra and the dropkick. And Pat Morita.
It
died. I laughed out loud. Like, I almost choked. I laughed so hard, and then I Snapchatted it to everybody because what the fuck?
It rules. So we're talking about 1999's King Cobra, starring Pat Morita, who also fought against the Cobra Kai clan. So,
Yeah.
you know,
Cobra Kai.
getting typecast here, I guess.
Yeah.
Was this a Sci-Fi Channel movie?
I don't know.
Because it came
I
up
don't even
with
know
the
where I
fucking,
saw it
like,
originally. Probably
Lionsgate
sci-fi.
logo at the beginning, and I was like, this can't have been a sci-fi movie. But I mean, it was fine. I feel like if it was a sci-fi movie, it would have been more
bad,
entertaining. Like,
we went different directions with that.
well, that's what I meant. Bad and entertaining kind of fit the same thing for me a lot of the time. It just like I texted in the group text this morning after I finished it, where I was just like I'm like, the snake being practical was great. Like, it looks cool, and like, I don't know, like, the idea, I'm obviously on board with a giant ass fucking cobra mixed with a rattlesnake for some reason. But
Well,
like,
no
every
thanks.
time the snake attacks, like, they cut away, or they cut so like
Yeah,
fast
it's that
that
quick cut.
it just kind of like made it not as interesting as if it was just like a giant CGI snake just swallowing people or whatever, like an anaconda.
Except for
Yeah.
that one where the dude ran straight into it, and it's just biting his head. That was pretty sick.
Yeah, so that's why I was confused, because there is that one scene where the snake puppet or whatever actually interacts with somebody, and I was in my mind wondering like why there wasn't more of that, and then I'm just like, I don't know, maybe they just thought it looked so bad that they couldn't like bring themselves to try. I don't know.
So
I agree though.
This was
don't-
just straight to DVD and VHS. I don't know if it's played on Sci-Fi since then, but like,
Surely it has.
yeah, it has to have. It's the cast of this is baffling.
I love how it's obviously every animal attack movie just does the Jaws thing where, oh, the town's whatever is happening and we need to protect the town from this giant killer thing, right? And this is like the lowest stakes version of that possible.
It's a fucking
Where it's
brewery being successful.
The
Yeah,
beer
it's
fest.
the most
Yeah.
easily spotted animal on land, and it's going to attack the microbrewery festival.
I don't know.
Oh no!
They,
What a nightmare!
they sure did have trouble spotting a like giant 30-foot tall long like snake though. I can't imagine an easier target, but
There's
they
the
proved me
scene.
wrong.
There's the scene where the dude like sneaks up behind it and is like looking at its tail and pokes it and is like, "Oh hey, this is it." It's like, yeah, man. Do you
Is
not
this it?
see it
Is this
laying
it?
down in front of you?
Is this it? This is it. I think it's it. How many fucking 30 feet long snakes have you seen? That's not normal.
It's like 6 feet around. It's very girthy, also. Like,
It is.
it's not like a 30-foot noodle, you know?
I mean, it kind of is.
Spaghetto. Well, I don't have very many pages of notes, so we can go through it
Yeah,
here.
because I mean, not a lot happens. The beginning,
So-
I was like, okay, this might get interesting. You got like a science lab exploding and shit, and then it just becomes like, it's like Jaws, but in the most boring way for like at least 40 minutes. Because it's not like you don't get like, you know, a cool scene like when they first get on the boat in Jaws and they're all getting drunk and shit, and
No, and
but
it's
you do get to
like
see
the
Pedro
thing-
from Napoleon Dynamite get eaten while trying to fuck
Yeah.
in the woods.
that was that was strange. I
Also,
was like,
Eric
I
Estrada
recognize that guy.
playing a very terrible, I guess what is supposed to be gay man.
Yeah, and I also question why that scene was in the movie at all. It had like nothing to do with anything.
It's because Eric Estrada showed up and was like, "Hey, I want to do this sick accent I figured out."
They were
Right.
like, all right, I guess you don't say no, but I
Star
think that
power.
my problem with the movie is that like there's a lot of scenes that just take so long where there's like nothing really happening, or like I don't know. So there was like parts of the movie I feel like where it was like 20 minutes and I wrote down like a single line like they're looking in the woods, but it was like 20 minutes of the movie, so I think that it was just kind of boring.
What
But-
I would like to talk about is how the actress that plays against Pedro in that scene is in a Turok movie.
Oh my gosh, really?
There's a Turok movie?
I can't tell if this is a video game or not, but Turok Son of Stone. It's got a big
Oh, it's probably an
dinosaur.
animated one.
It's got a big dinosaur on the cover, so
Good for her.
Yeah, the animated one.
kick out too excited about that.
I was like,
Yeah.
there's a hidden like late 90s live action Turok movie I haven't seen? What?
There's no cerebral bore in it. Count me out.
Right?
God, that game was so
Don't
good.
care.
Now I want to play Turok.
Perfect.
Let's just all get Turok and just play it for 2 hours while we just don't talk about the movie.
Deal.
Okay. I could already go. I could do that right now.
I'll just
all right.
watch a fucking video of somebody playing it on YouTube.
I'll just Snapchat it to you.
All right. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like we're all sort of on the same page. Like it's fine for what it is. I feel like I've definitely seen better giant snake movies, but like the practical snake is pretty sick.
Yeah, like I think the snake is kind of impressive. Like they even had his little like Cobra wings pop out and go back in and shit, and he was pretty expressive. Like he like mean mugged people. So
It's the Chiodo. Chiodos did the snake.
Oh,
Explain
Okay.
yeah,
everything.
Makes sense.
yeah. I remember seeing. I saw like somebody in a Letterboxd review say something about that, but then like they weren't listed on Letterboxd, and I meant to go look at IMDb to see if that was true, and I forgot. So yeah, that checks out. Why would
Okay,
you not use their work as much as possible in your movie? I would like literally cut away from the people constantly to just be like, hey, look at this fucking huge snake we made.
I know.
He's got an
There's
inflatable neck.
There's also like a weird scene where like when the like group of hunters is getting attacked, where they like pan over to show, they don't ever show the snake in like a full like shot. There was like a boulder covering up, so it was like his head and neck were sticking out the top of the boulder, and then his body was on the side. So like I'm assuming that the reason they didn't show it more was because it was two pieces maybe, but I just and like if you think about like other scenes in it, I guess it makes sense because there is, you know, like you just Kit said, where the guy's walking up and you see like the tail and like the back of it and then the front of it separately. So like I guess that's why, but I'm just like, why not? I don't know. Why not just go the whole way? But it's fine.
I think this
It
movie
is
should
what
have
it is.
ended with Pat Morita turning into a half human, half snake.
I wasn't expecting him to watch this movie and have him play someone who's like essentially in love with the snake. But this is where we are.
He's
okay, so
been it like 5 million times.
I
Okay?
enjoy your reading of this movie more than I did when I finished it, where it just immediately left my brain and you're like, I think he was in love with that snake.
he was. He saw the snake and was like, he's beautiful. And then later on, when he's fighting with it, he's like euphoric about getting bit. So there was something else going on there. I'm just saying. I am also obsessed with Cobra Kai, so that could be part of it. Okay, so this movie starts with some scientists doing science, as they do. And it kind of cuts to this guy in the bathroom that's like injecting himself with something and listening to classical music.
This guy fucking sucks so much.
The weird dude from Children of the Corn.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I first saw his face, I was like filled with dread, and I was like, don't like it. He's like freaking out in there. He's like psyching himself up, and he also kills a bug very aggressively.
His acting is brutal
great.
in this.
It's amazing. It's so good.
What did he say? He like puts on some surgical gloves and it makes that like snapping sound, and he says like, "Spank me again, daddy," or something like that. And I was like, "Sir, this is a science."
Yeah, that's how science.
Oh my god. I didn't realize this dude played Hans Klopek in The Burbs.
Oh.
This guy is a hero.
Yeah, that checks out.
A hero. So the rest of the scientists are doing tests and talking about aggression, and they're basically like doing tests to see if they can create a serum that will control aggression, and they're like on their way to like testing on humans or something. And so Children of the Corn comes out of the bathroom and is being like kind of weird and aggressive. He's like shoulder checking like the animals, the test animals.
He's just being real cool and calm.
Yeah.
Very collected.
As men want to do. And then so the main like doctor is named Dr. Burns, and he gets bafflingly an alert over the PA that he has an urgent email that he has to leave the room to check.
I forgot
it was
about
99,
that immediately.
Katie, okay?
I know, but literally I don't know, whatever. So he leaves the room.
What if that email had been about a giant killer Cobra snake?
What if a Nigerian prince needed to get their money out of the bank and needed his $5,000 to get him $50,000? That's important.
Gotta act on that ASAP.
Dr. Burns, the hero of the Nigerian princes of the world.
What if this movie just like made it so that he was the first person to fall for that scam, and then now this giant ass snake's loose?
You know what? Not close, but almost as good as a twist of that movie being about the creation of sangria, I must say.
I forgot about that. God, we've watched some fucking terrible movies.
We have. Chris freshened my margarita.
What the fuck, man?
Okay, so
refill my Mountain Dew.
Oh my god, you know what I got? And I haven't tried them yet, but I got those hard Mountain Dew.
Practice soda talk.
That I got Baja Blast and Watermelon because they were on sale, and I haven't tried them yet, but they're like pretty big, and I'm like kind of scared because I feel like they'll be really sweet. But I do love a Baja Blast, so I'm excited to try that.
That's the thing that like always stops me from certain ones where I'm just like, I'm not buying a 20 ounce of this because I know it's going to be terrible and I'm just going to waste it.
Yeah, I mean, at least I have like 3 other people I can try and pawn it off on if like it's too sweet for me or whatever. But
give it to one of the dogs.
Okay.
Get them all amped up on caffeine.
Yeah.
And alcohol.
Yeah, you know.
So what's happening? Oh, yes, Dr. Burns has to save a Nigerian prince. And so he leaves. Children of the Corn immediately locks the door behind him, and he and one of the other assistants start like messing with the science stuff. And Dr. Burns' daughter is like, "Oh my, what are you doing? Like, we're so close to a breakthrough. What's going on?" And Children of the Corn is just like, "Listen, your dad is not being loosey-goosey enough with the science. I've been injecting myself for months or some shit."
So good.
And
Your dad, the lead scientist, is a fucking idiot. I've been injecting myself with this crazy Cobra serum for years now. Look how fine I turned out.
Yeah, like essentially.
Fucking eyeballs popping out of his head.
I really wish this movie just went into their backstory as opposed to everything else it did instead. I want to know about, like, fucking Children of the Corn and this, like, old Asian lady somehow becoming, like, cohorts in this scheme.
I love them together. I ship them.
She, like, doesn't say a word, right? Like,
no,
she
I don't
just,
think
like,
she
quietly nods her head and, like,
she might say,
into the
like,
files.
she might say, like, one line when things start going wrong.
She's like, "Oh, no." So yeah, so they're basically just like dumping a bunch of shit into Dr. Burns' potion that he's been carefully like concocting, and basically his daughter is like, "Oh no, help!" and she's like banging on the door, and then they put in one too many different colored liquids into the vial, and it bubbles up and explodes, and then the explosion causes a fire, and then like the whole fucking lab explodes. Dr. Burns is at the door, and he gets, like, fucking rocketed back into the hallway because of this explosion. And he goes into the lab, finds Children of the Corn and his lover assistant, and they're both dead. And then is trying to find his daughter. And meanwhile, his daughter is still alive, but we see that there is a animal that they've had in containment that is free now. And it is our hero of the movie, Seth the Snake. And the fact that they named him Seth literally is the thing that saved this movie for me. Every time that they were like, "Oh, talking about Seth," it just like tickled me to no end. It was just ridiculous.
Until you realize he's named after Seth Putnam. Problematic.
Okay, well, so I'm pitching an idea that in June we continue with animal attacks movies, because I'm looking at the producer Mark Ammon's the movies he's produced, including a movie called Crocodilus, aka Blood Surf. That is a sleazy producer develops a concept he dubs blood surfing, tossing bloody fish remains into the water to lure sharks and then surfing through the animals as they chomp about. And it's on TV, so I am in.
Blood Surf is so stupid. It rocks.
I can't imagine it's not just dumb as hell.
I love it. It was another sci-fi staple.
Of course. He also produced Leprechaun, Leprechaun 3, and Leprechaun 4 in Space.
All right, well, fine. All right.
We can just make this Animal Attacks podcast.
Might as well.
As far as I'm concerned.
We honestly, yeah, we definitely could. Okay, so Seth the Snake is free. He is a king cobra, and he basically attacks Dr. Burns' daughter. He carries her out of the lab, but then she is never to be seen again. So I'm assuming she's dead. Not really sure.
No, they're best friends, and he helped her escape. And now she lives, like, in Idaho.
Well, good for her.
Oh,
in my head canon.
I don't know why that I thought the lady in this movie was the daughter the whole time.
No, because
apparently I was wrong.
She's the daughter of the mayor.
Look, I'm not going to pretend I paid any attention to the dialogue in this movie.
Okay.
None of the words matter.
Yes.
It's 2 years. It's 2 years later. We get some credits.
What a long time for a 30-foot snake to have been on the loose and no one knows about it.
I know. I was like, why?
What if
he grows
very slowly and he's not 30 feet yet, and it takes 2 years?
He carried a whole woman away. I assume he's close
Oh,
to
yeah,
30
that's fair.
feet.
I don't know, but so we get some credits over what we think is snake vision. There's a little girl who is sitting on a rocking chair in the middle of the woods, which seems sus. And she also doesn't know the words to "row, row your boat," and it made me so mad.
I can't. I gotta assume that's some fucking public domain shit at this point. Like, it's
She's
not like they had to
row,
like change
row.
it a little bit to not
No,
get sued.
because she also combines it with like other nursery rhymes. She's like, "Row, row, row your boat around the mulberry bush, merrily, merrily, merrily." Like, no, you're stupid.
That's the only way I've
Anyway.
ever heard it.
Listen. I don't put it past the education system in America, to be honest with you.
That's the.
So she's
I think
sitting
that's
there
the thing
being
that could unite both parties and making that the official version.
So she's sitting there being stupid. She gets scared by her brother, who scares her with a toy snake, and then it cuts
Fucking
away.
got her ass.
He really did, though. Then she's like, "I hate you. I'm telling Mom," and she runs away. And then the little boy gets attacked by Seth, like, immediately. So now we're introduced to like sort of our two main characters. One is named Brad, who is the town doctor. His dad is also a doctor, and Joe, who is a cop, I guess. And there's like these two ladies in the diner gossiping about how like Brad and Joe used to be together and now they're not together anymore. Blah, who cares? So Brad is doing a physical on the mayor, who is Joe's dad, and they're just kind of like, you know, shooting this shit. And this is also where we sort of hear about the brewery in town, because Brad's like, maybe you should lose some weight. Haha. And he's like, no, this is my beer weight. The town needs it, or some shit. And then a lady busts in the room with her lifeless son, you know, who has been bitten by a snake and is who's screaming for help. And the mayor just really calmly goes, "Well, let me get out of your hair," and just like walks out. I'm like, this child is dying, and he's just like,
it's real politician energy.
Being a politician isn't about
honestly,
helping people, okay?
Yeah, I think we've
it's about
discovered that this
hitting
week.
that old dusty trail. Oh my god, yeah. So then we cut to a close up of like a bunch of hunters' mouths for some reason. They're screaming and yelling and whatnot. One of them calls one of the guys a bushmaster, I think. Great. And they've hunted a rabbit, so good for you. Then we get a scene of a farmer who is like chopping up very, very small pieces of wood that like don't need to be chopped up, but it's fine, and calling for his dog, who doesn't come because he gets got by Seth. He gets Seth.
I just think it's funny though that like they for some reason they all know the snake's name is Seth, but no one ever tells them that it's named Seth. Like you see the nameplate or whatever at the beginning on like his cage or whatever, but like Pat Morita calls it Seth at some point later, and no one at any point in the actual movie is just like, oh yeah, that's Seth.
I assume that, well, because Dr. Burns like tells them that, oh, whatever. So I think that he tells them that, but I don't know that you see it, because okay, we're almost there actually. So Brad is packing up his room, and Joe gives him a gift, which is, at first I thought this was a calculator, but I think it's like what do they call those? Not like a Palm Pilot, but it's like a digital thingy that you can put in your like addresses, and it's got a calendar. And I don't remember what they used to call. No, it looks
computer.
Pager.
I think a
gun.
Nintendo DS.
I think a Palm Pilot is right.
Can't fly a Palm.
Either way,
that's dumb.
You can't fly one?
Yeah, Palm Pilot.
Oh, okay. Anyways, he's really excited about it. And then she's like, I just love writing stuff down. I'm a pen and paper girl. So you can just really see how they're different because, wow. They make out a little bit, and then Brad is just like, no, I can't do this because this is the strife between them. He wants to go to the big city and be a big city doctor, but she can't leave her small town because, I don't know, she's stupid. And so they're still in love, but they're breaking up because he wants to move and she doesn't. Joe gets walkied by the sheriff, and he's basically like, bring Brad because we're going to need him. So they show up, and the sheriff, they're basically like, what happened here? And the sheriff is just like, oh, he's pretty dead. And
Sheriff's pretty good at his job, I gotta say.
I mean, yeah.
Maybe not all cops are bastards.
I don't know. So they're basically like examined the farmer, and now this is like the first time that they've discovered that something is like attacking people. And one of the other cops like goes to look for the dog. Brad does like a kind of like a, you know, he's doing like a check of the farmer, and he pulls a giant fang out of the farmer's boot. And then the little cop guy busts in with like a fucking huge snake skin. It's like the size of the entire cabin. So I don't like it. It's pretty bad.
That's like a whole jacket, though. Whole snakeskin jacket.
Yeah, you could turn that into a pretty sweet sleeping bag.
You can make a few.
Yeah.
So Brad goes home and does like an online quiz to figure out like what kind of snake has attacked the farmer. And he's pretty close to the end, but then the power in his apartment cuts out. Joe is sleeping, and it's like thunderstorming and shit, and she's got a jump scare where Seth pops out from underneath the bed, and she wakes up, but it was just a dream. And her phone rings, and it's Brad, who wants to come over to like use her electricity, essentially.
Can I come over and borrow your electricity?
Dr. Burns is alive. He's got an eye patch. And someone tells him that a small town hospital has requested like anti-venom thing, and he's like, oh shit, it's Seth, who as Kit pointed out has known about Seth for 2 years, but he's just now attacking people. I don't know, seems weird.
Got hungry after those 2 years.
So this is what I just said. Cut to two people talking about Fillmore Lager and how there's going to be a beer fest. So then we just see a montage of people making beer and setting up for beer fest.
It's like what goes nowhere.
No, it doesn't, because unlike every single other movie we've watched, the mayor actually is like, okay, we're going to shut this thing down. So, like, why? Why have that? Whatever. Brad and Joe so Brad and Joe are trying to convince her dad, the mayor, to cancel Beer Fest. But, of course, like, he thinks that the future of the entire town depends on this Beer Fest. And then Dr. Burns comes in and is like, are you Dr. Brad? And he's like, yeah, who are you? And then it cuts away from, like, Dr. Burns describing anything that's happening. So I assume this is where he says, like, his name is Seth, but, like, what a weird conversation to cut away from when we see literally everything else that happens in this movie. I don't know. So this is where we see Pedro and his girlfriend running through the woods, like, playing hide and seek and also, like, stripping and making out. It was really strange. But they start hearing noises, and then Seth comes out of a tree and kills them.
They also have, like, no dialogue.
They do, but it's in Spanish, so I'm not...
Oh, that's right, yeah. For some reason, I thought, like, this... I remembered this scene just being, like, pretty much silent. Except for
running around with, like, the fucking weirdest, like, EDM song playing. It was, like, such a weird...
The score to this movie, incredible.
Could have been Sandstorm.
I think it might as well have been. Yeah, so Seth kills them. I don't actually even know if anyone ever found their bodies, to be honest with you, but R.I.P.
Why does Seth never eat anybody in this movie?
He just likes to bite.
Yeah, I don't know. Literally, he's just attacking because he's aggressive, I guess. So, Dr. Burns and Brad do an actual autopsy on the farmer while the cops search the park area where the beer fest is being held and also where Seth is, I guess. And so, like, during the meeting that they were having with the mayor, Brad's dad, who is, like, the physician, is basically just like, there's ain't nothing to worry about. It's just a snake. And so, when you know it, Brad's dad comes home and is just kind of farting around, drinking beer and whatnot. He sits down on the couch and he sees Seth's reflection in the TV. And then Seth, like, headbutts him so hard that he flies back and, like, breaks the coffee table. And then, you know, bites him a few times while their cat, Penelope, looks on. And thank God nothing happened to Penelope because she was so cute.
Yeah, do any animals? I don't remember any animals being like.
So, the farmer's dog in the beginning is said to have gone missing, but I don't think they ever find it. They find like its choker necklace or you know, its collar, but like we don't actually see any animals get harmed.
Obviously,
which
that
at
dog
least is nice, but
ran off to be somewhere better.
Just pieced out. I think so. That dog was like, I'm not fucking with this King Cobra.
Seth's
like,
back in town. Time to go.
Yeah. Beer fest stuff happens. Brad calls his dad, but he can't get through to him. And actually, I think in this scene we do see Seth eating his dad, maybe. They showed Seth's body a few times where he was, like, really chunky looking, and I don't know if it was just, like... I'm not really sure what was going on, but... Because I think when they go to the house, they don't find his dad's body. Because they were like, maybe he got away. And then Brad was like, I don't think so. So, like, I think he did actually eat Brad's dad. So, see you later. Joe is like, oh, you can't get a hold of your dad. Like, I'll go check it out. Goes to the house. And, and then they have, like, a conversation about how even though there's, like, a giant killer snake on the loose, Brad is still leaving in the morning to go to the city. And she's like, that, you know, kind of that thinks that's not cool. So she goes to check on the dad, and you can't find him anywhere. His shit's all smashed up. Cut to Brad crying, and the mayor is finally like, okay, we will shut down the festival because obviously this is real. Then this is where we're introduced to Dr. Hashimoto, who is talking to them about the attacks and is asking Dr. Burns, like, why he wanted to combine two of the world's most deadliest snakes into one. And Dr. Burns is just like, well, we were trying to create the most aggressive animals possible for testing. Great. And then Dr. Hashimoto
sell to the military, make some money.
Like, I mean, honestly, Dr. Hashimoto gives us a bunch of snake facts, where he says that snakes kill more people in 1 year than sharks do in 100 years. And I don't know if that's true, but I don't like it.
I'm gonna look this up and see.
Please do, because...
I mean, they definitely kill, like, a shitload more people than sharks do, but
yeah.
I have no idea if that exact metric is correct.
Yeah, that sounds insane. And then he gives more snake snack facts. He stops to give them a snack fact. And it just, like, talks about the most deadliest attributes of, like, the two different kinds of snakes that Seth is, which is a cobra and a rattlesnake. So Seth basically looks like a fucking huge cobra, but has a rattlesnake, like a rattle on his tail. Yeah.
Okay. So
Okay.
Sharks kill roughly 11 people a year. So if you take that times 100 years, 110 people. Right?
Okay.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Um,
Sounds good.
Even if it's more, it says snakes kill between 81,000 and 138,000 people. Oh, no. Wait. Yeah, between 81,000 and 138,000 people are killed by snake bites each year globally.
Jesus Christ.
No! That's way scarier than I thought.
Well, but if that's globally, that's like, how many like
Yeah.
countries are just straight up jungle and shit like that kind of makes sense.
No, thank you.
All right,
Ooh.
but consider this. Shark big.
I'm considering.
Way scarier to me.
I'm considering. I do agree that shark, I don't know. Okay.
Also, you gotta figure, it also makes sense because snakes can technically be in water as much as, like, they can go into water, and they're on land all the time, so, like,
yeah,
you have to go into the water to get attacked by a shark. Snakes could just
That's true.
come into your toilet.
for now.
Yeah.
One day, the sharks will wage their war on the land.
God, I can't wait. We deserve it.
we do deserve it. Oh, I hate that. Knock on wood, so far, I'm literally, I've only seen 2 snakes here, and both times I thought my soul was going to leave my body.
Yeah, but how many
One time it was
crocodiles
on
have you seen?
land. So far, none. Knock on wood. I saw one in the water and one on land, and I did not like it. I feel like I should probably start reading up about how to identify which snakes are actually poisonous or not, besides the obvious ones. Yeah, I don't like it.
When, I don't know how old I was. I want to say, like, 3-ish, maybe. I don't know. Old enough that, like, I could walk, but, like, not old enough that I was, like, knew what the fuck was going on. We went, like, camping, and, like, my mom just told me this story, like, numerous times, and I was just, like, standing out there, minding my own business, as a fucking rattlesnake popped out of a hole that I was standing over.
Oh, fuck.
And just, like, was like, oh, fuck, and then just, like, dived back in its hole.
Oh.
You want to know part?
He was like, this kid's gonna fucking
He was like,
do something
he was like,
mean.
ew, a child.
Yeah.
I don't think so. No thanks.
Same rattlesnake.
Oof. I'm so scared.
Everybody send Katie snakes in the mail.
Do not.
Just a whole one. A box of fucking peanut brittle that when she opens it, bam, rubber snake.
It's like those like surprise pop out snakes, but it's real.
I like the idea of you getting a case of cans of peanut brittle and you open every single one of them.
Well, joke's on you because I don't even like peanut brittle, so I would not even open it.
Does you're not 80?
Well, you. I know some people that like peanut brittle.
Yeah,
but
they're all grandmas.
But
they're all also brittle.
Okay, that's a good one. That was your snack fact. So basically,
I'm gonna have
Dr.
Jeremy turn that into like a theme, and we'll do snack facts every.
Snack fact. I want to so bad. That's great. A good idea. Yeah. Dr. Hashimoto is like talking about snakes or whatever. Then he just like gives them some solid dick about what's gonna go down, and he and Brad ride bikes.
I mean, gotta get some exercise in there.
So, like, the whole point behind the bikes was like so they're out in the woods, right? And he's like, well, the snake can pick up on vibrations. If you're on the bike, you're number one, faster, and number two, less vibrations. But in my mind, the idea that they're just gonna like have a jaunty bike ride just like cracked me up on a tandem bike.
It would have been so sick if they're on bikes and they saw it and they do that like cool like guitar pick slide, like "Meow," and they jump up on the bike and like hit the Cobra in the head with the back wheel, and then
That would
like
have
ride
been
off.
amazing.
That would have been insane.
They like bunny hop the snake and they're like doing jumps
Like,
off of him and
right.
stuff.
Riding on his back and then launch off his head like it's a ramp.
I love it.
Let me direct
That's
King Cobra 2.
Right?
I've got some ideas.
That's just like
Look,
what the
it's
fuck?
it's only been 22 years. It's time.
I think
bet
so.
the Chiodos still have the snake laying around.
I was gonna say
I'm
earlier,
sure.
I want to know what happened to the snake.
It's probably mounted on their bathroom wall. I don't know.
They sleep in it.
Okay, they ride bikes. Joe and Dr. Burns are putting up like razor wire somewhere. This is the part where there's a group full of hunters that are like hunting Seth. One of them finds Seth just like laying there and walks the whole like 30 feet of him going, I think this is him. Is this him?
Yeah.
I think it's him.
like,
Is this him? And I was
how
like,
do you
bro.
not know, my guy?
Seth appears to be dead. He's just laying there. And the guy is like, oh, shit, I got him. But Seth was just pretending to be dead, and Seth bites him. Another guy... Oh, my gosh, I'm confused about... I think, like, one of the other guys runs up and finds him, and then he gets, like, acided in the face and then bit. And then... This is the part where, like, the other guy runs up and, like, sees basically everybody getting killed and is like, oh, my God. And they show, like, a full view of the snake, except there's, like, a fucking giant boulder in the corner, so you can't see the giant snake. And that's why I was like, this has got to be not just actually a giant snake and just, like, pieces.
Yeah,
separate
I think it's
pieces.
just like a back end and a front end.
Yeah.
What if the boulder is part of the snake? Had you ever
Okay.
considered
What if
that?
he just ate a giant boulder?
They combined a king cobra and a rattlesnake and a big
And a
rock.
boulder. Yeah.
Boldle.
Wow. Okay.
How many margaritas in are you, Katie?
I'm not.
Share some.
I'm not even finished with this first one. Actually,
Yes,
it's
but
down to.
it also got topped off. So
That's true. It's I'm down to his nose cavity right now. It's a skeleton face.
I was
up.
like, what the fuck does that mean?
Oh, yeah, I was like, what? I was so confused.
What we did
You're down to the nose cavity of the margarita?
what we weren't told is this is the fourth margarita Katie's had today, but technically, still just the one cup since we started.
I wish we actually went and got this stuff like literally right before we recorded. So, what a day!
How far are you about the nose cavity?
That's how I'm measuring all of my drinks now.
Please
How much
do.
Dr. Pepper do you have left? I got like
Jawbone
maybe a
ish, give or take.
jawline.
Yeah, I love it. Lower mandible, so to
Yeah.
speak. What happened? Oh, Hashimoto and Brad discover snake piss, which
And shit.
for some reason I've never, for some reason, somehow the thought has never crossed my mind that snakes pee.
I think about it all the time.
I mean,
Every
now
day.
I think I will, because it kind of looked very confusing.
Where do you think my insomnia comes from? It's like all I think about.
Snake's piss.
Out of their nose is the answer. It's like
Ooh,
sneezing for them.
that's gross. Ew, what is that? Oh, it's just a love bug. Ugh, there's all kinds of bugs happening recently, and I am not here for it. So this is when Brad and Hashimoto run into the last remaining hunter, and the hunter's like freaking out, of course, because he just saw 3 of his friends get like killed by Seth. And so then it cuts to the sheriff and one of the cops, and one of the cops has to get out of the car to train the lizard. And he sees Seth, and he's like, oh shit, and he runs, and he manages to get in the car. This is the point where they're sitting in the car, but like cannot find where Seth is.
It like went right up to the car.
It like
And
headbutted
it's 30
the side of the
feet
car.
long, and they could
Yeah.
not find it.
And like, as you said, it's pretty girthy. It's like a fucking chunky snake. And they're just like looking around like, where'd he go? Where could he be? And I'm like, I don't even think that snake could fit underneath the car. Like, that's how like
not at
big
all.
it is. They can't seem to find him, right? And so then Seth like punctures the tires on the car so they can't escape or whatever. And yeah, they somehow can't see him. And then he busts through the windows. And this is where I got the idea. I was like, Seth said a cab because he kills both of the cops. So, you know. This is when Dr. Hashimoto, who they call Hosh, and I did not care for that, so I will not be doing it. This is where he reveals that he's been slowly injecting himself with venom over the years.
Smart.
Yeah.
The prudent thing to do.
And he's got to do it every couple months to like keep up his antibodies or whatever. And this is when he talks about how he's been bit by a black mamba. No, thank you. I don't even want to be in the same building as a black mamba. And also that he's been bitten like 154 times or some shit. So
He's been bitten more times than sharks kill people in a year or in 100 years.
Literally, yes. And then he's just like, okay, good night. And I was like, what the fuck? Okay, so the next day, oh yeah, okay, this is why I was saying I think he's in love with snakes, because I understand that this is like a real technical term and something that you do, but the black mamba bit into his hand, and then he was like, and then I milked the mamba, and then we were blood brothers. And I was like, I
Now
don't
we're married.
care for the way you're speaking about these snakes.
Yeah, the snake bites all the way through his hand, and he shows the scar going from like the top out of the bottom.
Yeah.
And he's like, I had to milk it of its venom to get to make sure it didn't get like too much of it inside my hand. It's very his
that the mamba
delivery of
wouldn't
every
die.
line is sort of very horny for snakes.
That's what I'm saying.
What a king.
I'd like to watch this milking. Sounds very sensual.
He's like, if you're interested, I got a video of me milking this snake from my hand.
Yeah, major horn vibes here. So the next day, they put like a vibration box in the ground that Dr. Hashimoto made himself. And they have a goat. And essentially the plan is to lure Seth to the campground with the vibrations in the ground. And then he's going to eat the goat and get sluggish from metabolizing the goat. and then they're just... And then they're just gonna hide behind a log and wait for that to happen. And once he eats the goat, they're gonna push him into a tube, and then gas him. How much do you think that snake weighs? They're just gonna like fucking roll him.
Yeah, there's
him
three people, including an elderly Pat Morita, are not going to be able to drag a 30-foot long snake into a tube.
Plus, he's eaten Brad's dad. Plus, he supposedly will have eaten a goat. I don't think so. I don't think you're going to just push him over there, but that's the plan, right?
They're going to have him eat the goat on a rolling cart, so they can just scoot him over.
Put the goat on a one of those trucks that just has like the bed on it, so they could just drive him over.
So,
beep, beep,
a 30-foot long python, it says, like, the largest one they've had weighed 350 pounds. So, like, you know, give or take 3 or 4 people could probably carry that. It would probably be awkward, just, like, the dead weight of it, but it's possible.
Yeah. Well,
now,
I also
this thing
feel like...
We're getting a lot of science quarter in this episode.
80 times. Yeah. We've got this figured out.
But I feel like he... So I know that they get sluggish when they're digesting food because all their energy goes to it, but it's not... I don't think they go limp. Like, he's not going to be dead weight either. Like, won't he still... I don't know. I guess I don't know.
I'm looking up if a snake would like Mountain Dew or not.
Okay. Oh, I also forgot to mention that Dr. Hashimoto literally says that Seth learned how to can play dead, and I was like, okay, great, sure. Okay. So Seth, there's like a time lapse of them waiting for Seth to show up. He finally does. He's like up hissing at the goat, like rattling away, but he's not actually eating the goat yet. And Dr. Burns gets really impatient and decides that he's going to just shoot Seth. And he goes to shoot him, but Dr. Hashimoto is like, no, and like hits the gun away. And that's why I'm saying he's horny for that snake.
He definitely could have shot that thing in the brain.
Yeah.
Like,
he had
just
the
let
shot.
him shoot it.
But
like, maybe it's nicer to like gas it or whatever, but you could shoot it in the brain, and it's a 30-foot snake, and it's gonna ruin the beer festival, which is the most important thing. So, come on.
The other thing is, like, I don't feel like Seth even got close to the beer festival. So, like, the danger was
he's
people
just hanging out in
running
the woods.
into the woods, but like,
I already again forgot the beer festival was a thing in this movie.
well, they shut it down already and like made people leave, and I was like, okay, well,
Poor Eric Estrada.
Yeah. What happened? Yeah, okay. So he tries to shoot Seth, but Dr. Hashimoto hits the gun, and so Seth runs away, and so does the goat. So the goat lives, thank God. And so they can't find Seth again, and so they're looking for him. And then all of a sudden, Seth pops out and bites Dr. Burns in the butt, and he's rolling around on the ground like, "Oh, my ass!" And this is where Hashimoto comes face to face with Seth. The scene is very sensual. It's just like Seth. It's like close up of Seth's face and Dr. Hashimoto's face, and Dr. Hashimoto's like, "Come on, give me more." And they kind of like wrangle a little bit. He's got one of those like snake wrangler hook things, and he's like trying to get him or whatever. Seth is like spitting venom in his face, and he bites him, and he's just kind of like euphoric. There's like this weird scene where like, so he gets the hook on Seth, but Seth is really strong, and he like breaks it in half, and then he bites him a bunch. And there's like this scene where Dr. Hashimoto is just like writhing kind of, and like his eyes are rolled back and like everything's spinning behind him. And I was like, what is happening here? It like reminded me of like the scene in Zoolander where they're having like the orgy, and I was like, what is happening here to him? But then Seth bites him one more time, and we hear a church bell dong, like the end of like a boxing match, and that's how we know that yeah, it was like bong, and then he was like, ugh, and he fell, and I was like, oh, that's it for him, I guess.
R.I.P.
Yeah. Sorry your snake lover killed you. It's toxic.
Yeah. What's happening?
What are these cups?
The Japanese Metal Gear Solid Mountain Dew.
Oh, it's Mountain Dew.
What are these cups?
Do you think they'll let me pay 1/8 of that price just to get the Solid Snake one?
You could probably find just that one somewhere.
Oh my God, Juano Rodriguez from New York is trying to call me. No, girl, I'm doing a podcast.
See if
I don't know who that
she's seen
is.
King Cobra. Just answer and be like, "You're being recorded on a podcast."
Uh-oh, Chris just took my cup to refill it.
Oh God.
We're so close to the end all the time. What happened? Okay. Oh, okay. So while Dr. Hashimoto is being like attacked, he's like yelling to Joe to move the gas chamber tube closer. And so she's like trying, but then she like immediately, like once he starts getting like attacked or whatever, starts shooting at him. And she runs out of bullets. She's like clicking through the empty chambers, but continues to run towards the snake, which I was like, seems like a bad idea, right?
You got to intimidate it.
Well, it didn't work because then she lays on the ground and is like, help, help me, help me.
She
and
had
then
no way of knowing that until she tried.
And then, in the best scene of the entire movie,
The
Brad
whole
is
reason
like,
for the film's existence, to be honest.
literally, Brad is like, get away from her, and runs and does like a fucking flying leap kick into Seth, and it is one of the best things I've ever seen in my life. I was totally taken off guard. I don't know what I expected him to do when he ran over there, but double kicking into the side of a snake is not what I expected.
He really connected too.
He
Like
did. Seth
they
was
let
like,
him kick the shit out of that snake prop.
That had to have been like
I
the final shot of the movie, I'm assuming.
Absolutely. And they're like, all right, well, this is
I
the
think-
end, so go ahead and break it.
Give his stunt double Oscar. Oh, you're right. It probably did. Because then after that, he's kind of like knocked over, and Brad lures Seth into like the end of the gas tube. There's like a scene where they kind of like make it seem like Brad is stuck in there, and Brad is like, I'm gonna die, and Joe's like fucking with the lock or whatever. So she gets it unlatched, and he climbs out, and they shut him in there. And then he tries to pull this string that's supposed to like release the door on the other side, but it breaks. And Brad is like, oh, it's too far away. We'll never make it to shut the door before the snake gets out. Let's push it up against a tree, which I guarantee took them longer to do.
But also, the snake alone is probably 300 pounds, if not more. On top of this
it's
giant metal fucking container.
Yeah, like
also
who-
has like gas canisters on it. Like,
There's no way. So they push it up against a tree. My other thing is like, in order to gas him, doesn't the chamber have to be airtight? There's no way that pushing it up against a tree would make it airtight. Thank you.
thanks, Chris.
Everyone's jealous of my
you
margaritas.
You get enough.
Oh shit! Yeah. All right. You said this one's even better than the other one.
Because it's
Let's
just
see.
straight alcohol.
Delectable. Thank you. Why has he not been being my drink service this whole time?
This is rude. Tell him he's got to bring enough for everybody.
Okay.
He's got to bring you 206 episodes worth of margaritas next
I
year.
know. Right? Like, okay. So basically, they push it up against a tree, and then Brad is like, I will hold it against the tree until you shut the grates. Why weren't the grates just shut, first of all? Whatever. And then turn on the gas. So
I'm starting to
they
think
do
this
that.
is a bad plan.
Yeah. So he basically holds it up against the tree until the gas gets him, they think. There's this like jump scare where he sticks his fangs through the like metal container or whatever, and then he stops moving, and they're like, yay, he's dead. So it cuts to Joe and Brad, and I think that we're supposed to assume that they're eating in the city because it's like they're sitting at a table and it's like really loud and like bustling or whatever. And Brad says that he gives her a planner where seems pretty useless though, because he's already filled out the days with her, and it's like, have lunch with Brad, have brunch with Brad, and I'm like, bro, she can't even use this planner now. But Brad says that he's decided to stay in their like little town because, you know, he went through a change or whatever. And I actually appreciated this because I feel like in most movies where there's kind of like a stereotypical like hetero couple like this, that the woman is the one that is always like I just want to be with you after this life-altering event that happens. I'll do the thing you want me to do. So I appreciate it. At least it was like the opposite. But also, Brad's dad was the one who was like the physician for the town, and he's dead now. So he would be leaving them without a doctor, which is like a pretty big dick move. Anyway.
Doctors aren't important.
I mean, we don't even know if he saved that kid, so
slap
probably
some
not.
Cobra venom on it.
Right?
You know what always
Worked
cures
out
that
for
kind of
children of the
stuff?
corn.
20-year-old
What?
Mountain Dew.
That's true.
Okay, yeah. Gives a planner and says that Brad says that he's decided to stay. Dr. Burns comes up and is like, "Oh, the military's coming to get the tube. Thank God it's over." And they're like, "Yeah, thank God it's over." And then Seth pops out. It's like boogity boogity, but it was just a dream again. They should have stopped it there, honestly.
It should have, yeah. That should have just been a real thing that happened, and he bit all of them and just like scooted away.
Seth was like, "Bottomless mimosas, anyone?"
What if he was just the
he
waiter?
Works at the restaurant. Yeah.
Exactly.
He turned his life around.
I feel like we always make better versions of every movie we watch.
I mean, honestly, yes.
Not hard, but yeah.
But unfortunately, that was not the end of this version because it was just a dream. Brad wakes up from a nap where him and Joe are sleeping on a hammock together. We hear helicopter noises in the background. We assume that the military is coming to get Seth, but shocker, Seth is still alive. The end.
Oops, sequel coming any day now.
Yeah.
Well, I just found out 1976's Rattlers just got a sequel last year. So, genuinely, anything is possible.
I love it.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, I mean, it
I've
was
seen
just kind
worse.
of boring. Yeah. Wait, how much are these? How much are these Mountain Dews?
Like $250 for the set.
The empty cans.
250?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Seems like a good deal to me.
So I can have Solid Snake on my mantle? Absolutely.
They're pretty striking. You know what else something sort of on a similar vein that I'm considering buying? I just saw that they've released a like Jurassic Park line of Barbasol cans. And like,
oh yeah, I saw those. That's pretty dope.
One of them, I know, what am I buying? I mean, I guess I could use shaving cream as shaving cream, but one of them, like some of them are like your typical like tie-ins where it's got like the fucking dinosaurs on the front of it, but one of them is like a replica of, I assume
like
everyone's seen Jurassic
Nedry's
Park.
can.
Yeah, I assume everyone's seen it, but if you haven't, for some reason, basically they use a fake hollowed out Barbasol can to like transport dinosaur embryos or whatever in the first one. And it looks like that. It's like rusty looking. And I'm like, if I see that in the store, I will probably buy it. It seems not a good idea to like leave it in there. So I'll probably use it or squirt it out or something. But
should I save the T-Rex Dr. Pepper can I'm drinking out of and try and sell it?
Yeah.
In like
20 years?
12 years? Yeah. I want to do that. So. I hope Jurassic World Dominion winds up being the best movie of all time, so this can's worth something.
Sure.
Yeah.
I think it's on track to be. Yeah. I do regret, like, I haven't kept anything like that with food or drink in it. But when I moved from like my parents' house originally, I still had an unopened can of like the Halo Mountain Dew, which I'm not like a super big Mountain Dew fan. I mean, I've said that before. I like Baja Blast, but this Halo Mountain Dew was like my favorite. I was buying like cans of it. It was so good. Or it was like gamer fuel, right? And I did have an unopened can and I got rid of it. And I feel like I should have kept it, but I don't know. I feel like it could have exploded or something.
I've got a bottle of True Blood around here somewhere. It's like a promotional thing we had at Best Buy when one of the seasons released.
I don't have anything. I think I had like, I think I have like maybe 2 cans of like Simpsons energy drink they made. Or one looks like a can of Duff.
Yeah.
That's about it. I had like I had a bunch of random shit like that before I moved that I just like threw away.
I think the only other thing I had was like a really long time ago, like when I was a child, I got these like Pokemon gum, and it was like little tiny like chiclet sized gums wrapped in like different Pokemons or whatever. And I had those for a really long time, and then finally I was like, this is kind of gross.
Finally, I have to
And
eat this.
Yeah.
All right.
Man, bottle of True Blood only sells for $25. Throw this thing away.
You throw it away, then all of a sudden, like, just skyrockets the price.
$500.
Yeah.
They're renewing it. Everyone's excited.
Any news, Katie?
No. I like
Death has
looked
arrived.
through it.
Danzig's making a Werewolf Bikers movie, apparently.
I'm in.
Oh, I did
Same.
see that. I didn't see it was a werewolf, but
When the fuck is Death Riders coming to streaming or DVD?
Yeah. Let me watch it, you fucks.
There's no way he made his money back on that tiny theatrical run. Like, let me rent your shit.
I don't know.
think he
Shane
did.
drove through that storm for it.
Oh
I'm
my
pretty
God.
sure
Dedicated.
Shane and I were talking about how it's not streaming yet, and that it only made something like $30,000.
mm.
Which I don't know. The way it looked, it may have cost less than that. Who knows?
Yeah.
All right. What everybody watch lately? Katie.
You'd think I would have watched something, considering as we haven't recorded in like 2 weeks. But what did I even watch? I watched this movie that was called it was like Ouija Origin of Evil.
Sounds
And
good.
I thought it was like the original Ouija that came out, that movie, and I was like, oh
Sequel,
shit, yeah, let's
prequel.
watch it. It was bad. It was so bad. It was really bad. Didn't like it. Then I watched Justice League Gods and Monsters. Have you seen that one, Nathan?
Yeah, the one with like the bad guys, Superman, Wonder Woman, and
Yeah.
Batman or whatever.
So I couldn't remember if I had seen it in the past, but I forgot enough about it that it was like new to me again. And like Batman is like legit a vampire, which I was like way into. And then I felt like a fucking crazy person because I was like trying to explain to my family what this movie was about. And I was like, so, Superman's parents were like trying to like send their genetic DNA away to like develop in this egg before it gets to Earth. But then before they can do it, Zod, who's like this evil guy, comes in and like puts his DNA in it instead. And so then when Superman's born, he has like different parents, and now he's like kind of like militant. And I just felt like fucking crazy trying to explain it. But it was like
If I remember correctly, I think it's the first animated movie DC did that was like a completely original story. It wasn't like based on an existing comic book.
Okay, that makes sense, because I was like, I appreciated how crazy and different it was, but I was wondering, I was like, I don't feel like I've seen this story before, so I don't know, it's pretty cool. I liked it.
Yeah, it's alright. It's one of the like, I think mid-tier ones for like DC's animated things that I've seen, but it's enjoyable.
I think I gave it like a 3.
Yeah,
but
I'd probably do the same.
I don't know. I like when they do like weird shit. Like Batman being a real vampire to me was like the best, even though his is his name Michael C. Riley? Michael C. Hall?
I mean, those are that's
The guy from Dexter. The guy from
Yeah.
Dexter does his voice, and while I usually enjoy him, I don't think he was the best pick for this character. But anyways, Then I watched a movie called Antlers because I thought I was watching Seder, and they were not the same thing. And
Antlers is
was,
the one Del Toro produced.
yeah,
Probably hear my neighbor's dirt bike for the next 20 minutes.
so cool.
Hell yeah, brother.
It was okay. It was fine.
Yeah, I wanted I was intrigued when it was first coming out, and then it came out and everybody was like, "Yeah, this is not great," and so I just never watched it.
I did not feel like I could tell that Del Toro had a hand in it in any way, and when the credits came on, I was like, really? But
I mean,
I
think he funds a lot of stuff where it's not like he doesn't really have a hand in it. He's just the producer who's just kind of yeah, here's $100,000, go do some shit.
Yeah. So I watched that, and then we started watching Gotham.
It's fine. I got through. I don't know, I think I watched the first couple seasons when it aired, because it would just hit Hulu the next day, and it's not great, but there's some interesting things in it.
So
the guy that plays the Penguin is very good.
So we're towards the end, I assume, of episode 1. Or I'm sorry,
I was
season 1. And the reason that we started watching it actually is because the guy Ben McKenzie, who plays Gordon, is from the OC. And I remember for a while ago I was saying that my family was making me watch through the OC, and so it's pretty much canon to Chris and I that at the end of the OC he leaves California and becomes Commissioner Gordon. And it's not a super great show, but I'm fascinated by the ways that they took the universe of Batman and Jim jangled them up to this show. And also I'm baffled by what time period this show is supposed to take place in, because it seems like it should be the 40s or 50s, but they have cell phones,
well, yeah,
so it's very confusing
the
to me what's happening.
Where it's modern, but everything is very noir-ish.
Modern but old. So yeah, it's been interesting for me to see how the characters come up, and then Chris just makes fun of me because I'm this isn't even close to being correct.
Jada Pinkett Smith is unbearable in that show.
Oh my god.
But I think I continued watching because I like Robin Lord Taylor, I think is his name, or maybe Taylor Lord, I forget. The guy he plays Penguin in it is pretty good.
Yeah.
And I like the guy that played Alfred. That was mostly it. I think I checked out after maybe the third season.
Yeah, I don't know how far we'll get. It's just it's been weird. And a lot of the characters are children in this one, and I'm
they from what some of the stuff I saw, it seems like they were doing pretty cool shit towards the last couple seasons, whatever I stopped watching, and I was like, oh, I should check back in on this, and I just never did.
Yeah. We'll see how far we get. I think I don't know how many episodes are in each season, but we're towards the late double digits for season 1, so we'll see.
All right, what about you, Kit?
What's Unbearable Weight? Fucking rules. Nick Cage, always a delight. Pedro Pascal, also wonderful.
I can't fucking.
I want to see them in everything together forever.
I saw the deleted clip of Pedro Pascal doing a Nick Cage impression in the movie that they from a deleted scene, and I was like, this movie just looks delightful.
It really is. It's just joy for an hour and 47 minutes. I watched Tombstone for the first time.
I still haven't seen that.
Pretty
wow.
sick.
It's one of Caitlin's favorite movies that I bought on VHS that just for whatever reason just keeps getting put off in my watch list.
You should watch it.
Oh yeah, I mean I have no
Highly
doubt
recommend.
with the cast that it's great.
So many good mustaches. And then I watched the awful remake of The Fog. Really a waste.
It's
Of
mostly
time.
it's just that like it doesn't do anything with it. It's just
Yeah.
a 2000s remake that does like nothing new. Like it's totally like I'll stand by like it's not good. It's just like a completely fine thing that exists. Like there's no it's not like, you know, the Nightmare on Elm Street remake or some shit.
It just made me realize how bad like most of the trends in 2000s horror
Yeah.
movies were.
Yeah.
Like, wow, this all really sucks, huh? Because
Yeah.
it's like the complete antithesis of everything the original Fog was, you know?
I
So it's like, oh
I
wow,
f-
this doesn't
I
work. None
feel
of this works with this story.
like all of those remakes in that period were like that, where it's just like there's very few of them from probably like, you know, 2000 to like 2010 that like understood what they were doing, or like, you know, it wasn't just a studio being like, I don't know, people liked this movie, let's just do it again. But like, cause like maybe like Texas Chainsaw Massacre's first remake is like pretty grimy and like kind of gets some of it right. I think the Friday the 13th one kind of does a little bit as well, despite not being like the best. But so many of them were just like, yeah, people like these movies because it's just people getting killed, and it's like, no, that's not why people enjoy The Fog.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Also, hiring just like it was also that period where they're just like, you know, everybody in the like John Carpenter's The Fog is so like interesting looking to where they're like not like necessarily like super like the thing with a lot of the remakes is they just cast like people that are just like ridiculously attractive.
It's just handsome teens
Yeah.
and early 20s people. It's like it feels like watching a like CW show.
Yeah, that's exactly yeah, because it's fucking Superman's playing like the main character in that movie.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, it's like Superman from fucking Smallville.
Very
I
weird
forgot.
contrasting like him instead of like Tom Adkins
Right.
or whatever. It's like, what? No.
We did also watch. Was Superman Returns the one that had
Brandon Routh.
not? Is that his name? He's also like the Adam in CW.
Yeah.
We also watched that movie, but I fell asleep like 3 times because I was so bored.
Yeah,
so
they
I don't remember
made
it.
a Superman movie where the only punch thrown is him punching an island.
Yeah, so I didn't include that as my watch, but we did technically watch it.
That's such a
Kevin
bummer because
Spacey was in it
he's
too.
like Brandon Routh is like the perfect looking Superman, and they just
Yeah,
gave
I
him
mean,
the
I like him,
shittiest
but-
Superman movie.
Yeah, so bad, so bad. Anyway,
I watched a bunch of shit, like a bunch of DC's animated stuff that I won't necessarily go through, but I did watch. I watched all the Max Fleischer, early 40s, Superman shorts. A lot of racist shit going on in those. Not great once you get into like the World War II stuff. Gotta say. I watched The Untold Story. Perfect movie. Everybody should go watch it. It's on Tubi right now. You to watch Anthony Wong kill a bunch of people and turn them into bao buns. Just fucking banger.
wow.
I also watched Taxi Hunter, which is like another like I think category 3 Hong Kong movie that Anthony Wong was in that's really good, where what's really interesting about like a lot of these category 3 movies I've watched is the police, like the way the police are portrayed in all of them as they're just like bumbling idiots all the time, and that all taxis are ran by the absolute most horrendous people on Earth. So, like, I don't know if something weird was going on with taxi shit at the time. Like, a lot of these movies were getting made in, like, in Hong Kong, but they don't seem to look kindly on taxi drivers. But, his pregnant wife is killed by a taxi, and then he just goes out and starts killing all these shitty taxi drivers. I watched Dr. Lamb, which is another Category 3 movie about a guy that is a taxi driver killing people. I watched
lots of taxi content.
Yeah. I rewatched Conan O'Brien Can't Stop. Very good documentary about his live tours after Jay Leno decided he wanted his shitty TV show back. I watched through Kevin Smith's almost entire directing filmography. Again, I watched Jonah Hex for a podcast I didn't get to do.
Bummer.
Don't recommend.
Brutal.
Especially having to watch it and then for nothing.
Yeah. I rewatched The House quadrilogy. Still good. I watched a movie called Fast Food that is this like late 80s kind of teen sex comedy thing that's really fucking terrible, but Jim Varney plays like the bad guy in it, and he's just per usual killing it, and everybody else in it's the worst. I watched a movie on YouTube called Fatal Games that's like a slasher from the 80s of somebody killing like collegiate sports people. It's fucking real weird. It's not great, but it's kind of like a interesting, goofy watch. I rewatched Turbulence 3 Heavy Metal.
I saw that on there. You know, I will say I have not, well, maybe it's not the best movie ever. I have not stopped, maybe it's because your like Twitter handle is Slade Craven. I have like not stopped thinking about that movie since we did it.
It's so good. And then I finally started catching back up on like MCU stuff now that Doctor Strange is coming out. So I watched Shang-Chi, which rules. First third, last third of that movie are so good. Middle's kind of hit or miss for me, but I watched Eternals, which I liked more than I thought I was going to. It's a movie that I'm not exactly sure where it's going to be going in like the canon of those movies, but Angelina Jolie was honestly pretty great at it. And then the dude from Atlanta that's in it that plays like the guy that makes shit is pretty great too. I watched the Hawkeye TV show, loved it. And then I finished Moon Knight, also loved that. Oscar Isaac playing 3 characters in the future is going to be sick. I am fully on board with wherever the fuck that show's going to be going. And
I haven't finished it yet, but I anticipate that I will still think it's great. So hopefully they will like keep doing stuff with it. I wasn't expecting it to be as short as it was, to be honest with you. But
well, all of the shows except for WandaVision are only 6 episodes.
Yeah, I didn't realize that.
I think
because I'm used to like Daredevil and Punisher. Well, I guess Punisher's only 2 seasons.
I think they had only planned on doing the 1 season, and then I think like they re-edited the final episode to kind of give it more of a cliffhanger to go into another season after it like did so well. How far are you in it?
I think I have 2 episodes left.
Episode 5 is so good. Like I
can't remember. I either have 1 or 2.
Have you gotten to the hippo yet?
That was like the last thing that happened in
so
the last
you still
episode.
have 2 episodes then.
Yeah.
All right. Shout outs, Katie.
Well, first of all, shout out to Buc-ee's because I have beaver nuggets for dessert and they're my favorite. I haven't really been doing anything. I think I am honestly just going to shout out everyone who signed up for my Patreon because it's amazing and I appreciate you. So a lot of you listen to the podcast, so just thank you.
You're welcome.
Even though there's nothing on it yet, but that's okay. I'm working on it.
What about you, Kit?
Our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ.
Ew.
No. I was trying to think of something and I couldn't.
Mystery Men.
Fuck. Yeah, Mystery Men. Fuck it. Mystery Men's the best. It's the best movie ever. So I'm gonna say that.
Good call. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna just say everybody just go donate to abortion funds.
Yes. Do that.
Yeah. Things are terrible all the time. So
Yeah.
we don't
Donate to an abortion fund. Find your senator's address. Drag them into the street.
Yeah.
Beat them with a bat, perhaps.
just drown them
in Minecraft. In Minecraft, of course.
Drown them in just giant piles of elephant shit. Pretend they're Steve-O, but make them head first into it. That's my plan. Do you see fucking Abbott?
Shout out unaliving
Do
politicians.
you see Abbott being like, we're going after making it so kids don't get free school soon?
Jesus Christ.
I was like, God. Like, they're just fucking... There's no pretending anymore.
Right?
Yeah, things are bleak. We donated what we had in, like, our Patreon wallet to National Abortion Fund. So I think it's something like... I forget, National Network of Abortion Funds, some shit like that.
I think you posted the link.
Yeah,
didn't you?
I think it's like if you just go to like @abortion funds on like Twitter and Instagram, you can find them. And they do like, it's like nationwide, so it's like whatever you donate kind of gets split up amongst wherever it needs to go. As opposed to just like one specific org, and it's not like, you know, everyone else is probably donating to like Planned Parenthood and shit where they've got enough money. There's also like Yellowhammer Fund, which does a lot of shit in like the South where it's heavily needed. Because if you see the maps of places where it's like states that have been like, no, like we've made our own laws that abortion is fine. It's like all just the coast, and then everything in the middle is just sketchy as shit.
Yeah.
I'll say Texas has basically been like pretending Roe vs. Wade's been overturned for like a year and a half now, right?
Yeah, something like that. Oh, everything's the worst.
Yeah.
Hell
not
world.
great.
So next,
vote hard.
Yeah, just keep voting blue no matter who. Just get some more fucking Joe Manchins in there.
It's been doing great.
I fucking hate it here so much.
Yeah, everyone's bad all the time, so.
So next week we are going to watch Creatures from the Abyss, aka Plankton. An absolute banger of a movie by Alvaro Passeri, who has did another movie called The Mummy Theme Park that also slaps.
I love the title.
I talked about Creatures from the Abyss at some point as like one of the movies I watched, like a past episode. I'm very excited to talk about it because it's extremely Italian and stupid. It rules. I think the only place to watch that is YouTube. I don't remember if it's anywhere else. Let me see. Yeah, it's not showing up anything on Letterboxd, but there's like, it's on YouTube for free. So you can watch that there. You could support us by joining our Patreon at patreon.com/I Hope You Suffer podcast. We, when we're recording this, we had just released an episode on Planet of Dinosaurs, Gamera, Guardian of the Universe, and Reptilian.
Yeah,
shout out Young
best
Gary.
movie all time. Young Gary.
We got our picks for the bonus episode coming out in June, and oh boy.
Reptilian 2.
Yeah.
Old Gary.
If you like when we don't talk about movies with monsters in it, you're in for a treat. Hope you like Shakespeare, because I don't.
I don't either.
Same.
I'm
glad he's dead.
Yeah, me too.
Honestly, though.
Glad Homer shot him after he became a zombie. You can get merch at our Store Frontier shop. Leave us a rating on Spotify and a rating and review on iTunes. Tell us if you think you could move a 30-foot giant snake.
What's the largest animal you'd be willing to drop kick to save a loved one?
That's a good question.
That is a good question.
Let's say sea otter.
One of the giant
definitely,
ones.
Definitely not a river otter, because those are the ones that are like human size.
No, I want something small.
Groundhog.
Yeah.
Maybe. They do have sharp teeth.
Groundhogs are pretty fast. I don't know if you can get one.
You said be willing to, not could I physically do it.
I'd probably drop kick like an elephant, because I feel like it just wouldn't affect it at all. I'd probably
An
just
elephant?
fall and just hit and like not move. You can follow us on Instagram at I Hope You Suffer Podcast. Follow Kit at Hidden Kitstery. Follow Katie at Werewolf Face, and go check out their Patreon at whatever the address is, Katie.
Patreon.com, I assume, / still just werewolf face. No, like werewolf face, not the whole thing I just said.
All of that, everything you have to type in.
Still
Just
just werewolf.
You listen to my other podcast, 8K Movie Club. Go watch Creatures from the Abyss for next week. Go watch King Cobra now if you haven't seen it.
Yeah.
It's not great, but it's worth seeing the practical giant snake doing practical giant snake stuff. Yeah, that's it. All right. I hope you
Young Gary.
yeah, I hope you Young Gary some politicians.
Yeah.